Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your coverage of the White Lotus here. We know scripted TV. I am Rob Cesternino back here once again with Josh Wigler. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. Just one problem, my gun's missing.
Oh, well, my pills are missing.
Oh, yes, there's a thief. There's a thief here at RHAP.
Have you seen my pills? I take a bunch of pills before every single podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And when I have to talk to these people, and I don't know where they are.
Yes.
I've misplaced. They were right here.
Yeah. Sometimes, this maybe is getting a little inside baseball on the art of podcasting, but sometimes podcasting is like being adrift on a boat full of strangers that you could only survive by popping pills with, but your pills are all gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened before, for sure, energetically.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Tell me more about this because I feel like you've you're touching my heart.
That sounds unrelatable to you. You've never been stuck on a podcast.
I think that you can find peace in this life, Josh.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. Sometimes podcasts as a listener can be like, all right, I just want to get the information. I don't want to savor the flavor. Just give me the protein shake. Let me chug it. But we try to flavor our shakes here on RHAP.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but let's get into it because I really enjoyed this episode. I feel like that we're really now starting to we have last week we raised the snakes. This week we raised the stakes, and our characters here are in danger.
You're in danger, girl. Yeah, we're Googling. You never want to see characters Googling each other on a show. I think that leads to bad
Forget
business.
Chekhov's gun. We've got Gaitak's gun.
We've got Gaitak's gun.
Gaitak's gun.
We've got Gary's Google.
Gary's Google.
We've got Gary's Google. We've got like Belinda's haunted cabana. We've got a lot going on right now. So yeah, the show is really heating up on its way to a full moon party. Right now.
Well, we're halfway there and 4 episodes down, 4 to go here on the White Lotus as we discuss episode number 4, Hide or Seek. And of course, if you've been seeking great scripted TV podcasting, we're not hiding. We know scriptedtv.com.
I was trying to gesture at the WeKnowScriptedTV.com banner that you can see when you watch us on the We Know Scripted TV YouTube here on RHAP, but it's at the bottom of the screen, and I can't dip below that way, so I can't really underline it. But
same place where Josh Wigler is continuing the outstanding coverage of Severance and everything else that we have going on. All of our scripted TV offerings. You can subscribe. WeKnowScriptedTV.com. Okay.
Yes. Rob, Severance offering up perhaps the worst episode of the season this past weekend, as the White Lotus, I think, offers up the best episode of the season this weekend. So check out the Severance pod for more on that if you'd like.
Okay. All right. So let's start off with the Ratliff family.
As we like to do here.
Yes. Things have really escalated here.
I really like this storyline. I think that Mike White is really tapping into the vein of a lot of very compelling ideas about this American family. And I think he's exploring tons of different nooks and crannies and really letting it all hang out. When it comes to the Ratliffs.
Yeah, in this episode, did you see Timothy's piece?
Yeah, I saw.
Did you see his pistol?
Yeah, I saw T's P. Yeah. We got some TP on
He's got a blaster at this episode.
Yikes. Yeah. I don't know what Timothy's so upset about. Timothy, you got a lot to be happy about. You've got so much. You've got a lot to be proud of, Timothy. Timothy's out here being like, oh, my God, my world's ending. Everyone at the club. It's all going to be a problem. But like, Timothy, think about what you do have. They can take your money. They can take your house.
Yeah.
They can't take everything away from you.
Okay. All right.
Some stuff you get to keep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. And we have seen, Timothy's dark descent over these last couple
Is that
episodes.
what it's called? Is that his name for it?
No, I don't believe so.
Dark descent?
No, I definitely not. But he has been.
It certainly isn't Tiny Tim.
No.
It is
capital.
Yeah. It is capital Timmy. Timmy. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about down there. Wow, Timothy really is just pill popping like you thought he would be. Timmy's on one right now.
Yeah, he's really on one. He's just taking the pills. At the end of the last episode, Victoria is asking him, like, have you seen my pills? He's like, I'm not a drug addict.
Yeah, I don't
take drugs.
I don't take drugs. I don't do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
3 hours later, does drugs and cannot stop.
Hypocrite much?
Just a touch.
Yeah. All right. So Saxon, he's just working the blender. He's making a whole shake, trying to get Lachlan to just pound it. I find the shakes are pretty delicious. I don't know what Saxon's putting in these shakes.
I don't know what he's putting into the shakes either. Saxon seems to have two priorities. If not in life, then certainly on vacation. Priority one, get laid by any means possible. Whoever, whatever, wherever, whenever. Mission two is to make sure that Lachlan doesn't turn into a little gender goblin, as he says. And so I don't know what he's putting in those shakes to make that happen, but he does not want that to be Lachlan's future.
Yes, he wants a very specific life for his brother, wants him to follow in his Saxon footsteps.
Yes.
Victoria comes out and says, like, have you seen my pills?
Yeah, they're missing.
I'm missing some pills. I just got my prescription filled.
My pills are gone. How am I supposed to survive here? And Piper's like, you're on a vacation in a wellness retreat. You can't make it a week without your pills.
No,
she can't. Look at these people she's surrounded by.
Yeah. And speaking of can't look, so when Timothy, he's really just like totally out of it.
Yes.
He has taken a shower. He's in his robe, and we get a bit Basic Instinct esque moment here, where Timothy is flashing the family jewels to the family.
Yeah, the righteous gemstones, so to speak. Also tonight on HBO. Yeah.
Also hung.
Yes, also hung. Also on HBO.
The HBO trifecta.
Yes, and it's kind of hanging eastbound and down a little bit. Wow. Yeah.
Not 6 feet under.
No.
Not quite.
Let's not get carried away here. Yeah. But Timothy, Timothy packing heat for sure. Mike White really loves to have on the White Lotus. He loves it when a patriarch hangs dong. Now it's Jason Isaacs as Timothy Ratliff. Before it was Steve Zahn's balls. Remember that? We get a real tight shot on Steve Zahn's nuts.
I think that if you are a male character on the White Lotus, like you may have to go full frontal.
You better be ready to play balls. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Walton Goggins, you're on deck.
Yeah, Walton Goggins, you're
on maybe we're not deck.
Yeah, Walton Goggins. Big deck energy from Timothy Ratliff throughout this episode for certain.
Yeah. Okay. Not to go too far behind the scenes, and I didn't watch the behind the episode, but last season I know that prosthetics were used.
Correct. Yes. I had the opportunity to interview Jason Isaacs for a piece that will come out later in the season. I did not do my due diligence and ask him about prosthesis. So that will have to come out through some other reporters' intrepid journalism.
Okay.
It shan't come from me. We'll find out. I'm certain that this is going to be in a lot of headlines. Last week it was all about snakes. This week let's
another snake was freed.
Another snake was freed. Did you see that Walton Goggins said he got bit by one of those snakes?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he got bit by one of those snakes. It was a little bit of a to-do. He's still with us.
He's all right? God. They got him to the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's okay. He made it.
Did Godfather Carl have to help him?
Probably. Yeah.
Mhm.
Suck out the venom.
All right.
City Slicker style.
The Ratliff family, we heard they were going on the yacht where we are going to see them interact with. I suppose we didn't get to see too much Timothy and Rick interaction, considering that they had. I really thought that was 100% where this was going. But no, they don't really talk on the boat.
No, both of these men would love to be, I guess, not somewhere anywhere else. Not anywhere else, but somewhere else. Yeah. They take one look at each other and they're like, not today, Satan.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're headed off onto Gary/Greg's boat with Chloe, and Victoria is going to hide her purse in a safe place where only Timothy can see it.
Yeah. And so he sees her put the purse down. The pills are in the purse. She's already concerned that somebody's pilfering from her pill supply.
Pilfering. Yeah.
She is ultimately going to come back down to check on her purse because she's talking to too many normies. A lot of people really not impressed with the clientele this week between Victoria and Jacqueline, not really liking all of these normal people. So she goes back down and she needs to take some pills. And now the pill bottle is gone, but the purse is still there. Has she done any work in connecting the dots here?
It doesn't seem like it. She doesn't seem to accuse him. I think she just feels like, hey, we're in Thailand. There are scammers. There are people who are purse raiders.
Yeah. She's going to call him a Boy Scout later. She's going to tell Piper, you should be so happy your dad's not a murderer. He's not a philanderer. He's a
not
Boy Scout.
Running around with women half his age.
Yeah. But he's running around with your entire pill supply. So he is a thief, a dirty, rotten thief. So Big Tim is gonna go on quite the bender in this. He's like in like existential free fall through this whole episode. He's like it's not blissed out. I don't know what we want to call this. It's not bliss that he is experiencing, but he is in deep disassociation at this moment in time. And he's going to talk about we'll hear a bit about his past. He's a finance guy. I have a lot of big clients. I'm a pillar of the community. His grandfather was the governor of North Carolina. His father was a very, very very successful businessman.
Yeah. So he's kind of a Nepo baby himself.
A little bit. Yeah. And he says, thank God he's dead. Both my parents. Thank God they're dead. Now, is this because he didn't get along with his parents, or is it like, thank God they're not alive to see this?
Yes, that they would be incredibly disappointed because he's talking about like, oh, the people at the club. Oh, thank God my parents are dead. You know,
it's so like, good when he goes, everyone at the club.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Do you ever do this where sometimes when I'm showering, Rob, I will like think of like an embarrassing memory, and like I'll like say something out loud that connects to the embarrassing memory. Like I'll think of something that happened and then I'll say out loud, oh God, like something like guttural happens. Does this ever happen to you?
I wish more than anything
this
that
is
I
what's
could
happening
make
to
you
him.
feel
I
seen,
think he's
but
just
no,
like he's just like in this moment. I felt very
maybe
seen.
In a future shower.
I felt very seen by Timothy Ratliff in this episode in several ways. And so that's what he says. He goes, everyone at the club. I think he's having that like shower thought post shower.
Okay, I want to talk to you about Piper and Lachlan. They are talking, and Piper says, hey, I'm going to need you to do me a solid. Tonight at dinner, I want to tell mom and dad that I am going to stay here. I want to basically come here for a year. I'm not sure. She wants to go home with them, but then I think come back.
Correct.
Now,
it turns out that this was a scouting expedition for Piper, that she's been lying a little bit about her true intentions here.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, Josh, are we setting the stage for the entire Ratliff family to stay permanently in Thailand?
I think that feels right. I think that there is whether or not that's what will happen. I think at least the wheels are turning for Tim. That in this episode, he's going to have a moment with Greg. This where the episode gets its title from, where he says, "I hear that people who come to Thailand are either looking for something or hiding from something." And Greg says, "Neither. I was sick of the rat race. But which are you? Are you a hider or a seeker?" Tim, shower not grower, says, I'm just here on vacation with my family. But you raise an interesting point.
Yeah. All right, because I feel like of the 5 Ratliffs, I feel like I can make the case right now for why 3 out of the 5 might want to stay there permanently.
Okay.
And I feel like that Saxon could meet the right lady here.
Yes.
And be up for staying. The only person that I could see maybe who might not want to stay is Victoria.
Yeah, but if her entire family wants to stay, what is she going to do?
Maybe if she finds a pharmacy here.
Well, if she was able to partner up with Rick could have shown her where she could have gone. He knows a drugstore in town he could have brought her to.
So I do think that that's something that bears watching of that. Will the Ratliff family ever return to North Carolina?
Yeah, I think a good question, especially as we get deeper into the episode and we come to find out what Timothy's choices are starting to come down to, because he cracks at dinner. Dinner ends up just being Timothy, Victoria, and Piper, because Lachlan and Saxon are on their way to the full moon party.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Saxon and Lachlan on the boat. It did seem like that Lachlan is coming out of his shell a little bit. Josh, is this something that was underreported in the first 3 episodes? Is Lachlan some kind of like Chris Angel mind freak street magician?
Yeah, I think so. He's an expert at close-up magic.
Wow.
The Ratliff family is pretty good at close-ups.
Not a trick. There's illusions.
No, illusions, Michael. I won't do the full line. He does. He seems to be a very impressive little magician. He kind of reminds me of the late great Anton Yelchin in another HBO property when he was but a young boy on the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, where he was the magician. He was the little magician. And I feel like Lachlan's kind of giving that energy. Like, maybe he's the grown-up version of that kid from Curb.
Well, the party tricks are working, and Saxon is really hitting it off with Chloe, although Greg/Gary, who has a lot on his mind in this episode, is peering over and does seem to be keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, I think he's watching Saxon watching Chloe. But I feel like he does have a bigger problem to contend with than the son of Arnold being the number 1 threat in Thailand for him. I don't think that this is the biggest to do for Greg right now.
Yeah. So ultimately, Saxon and Lachlan are going to stay out on the boat, and we're going to see Piper back at the hotel with Timothy and Victoria. It doesn't seem like she's going to have the talk tonight.
No, it doesn't seem like she's going to have to talk. She wanted backup from Lachlan. She needed somebody to say, oh, that's a good idea. And now she doesn't have anyone to do that.
Is this your card?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he could have, spun some sort of magic trick out of this. It seems like he's got the magic touch.
Yeah. All right.
But then Timothy's going to break away because he can't handle this anymore. It's especially once Victoria's talking about, he's the best. Your dad. He's a good guy. He's an actual Boy Scout.
I'm so tired after that convention of con man and tax cheats.
Yes. And she thinks that these people are actual killers. And maybe that's going to be giving Timothy a little bit of an idea by the end of the episode. Because he's going to get his phone back from Pam. He turns the phone on. His phone is blowing up. Pam goes, gosh, you're popular. And he comes.
Put out Pam.
Yeah, come on, Pam. Leave him alone. He's having a hard time. He's going to get on the phone with his lawyer. Turns out that Kenny Nguyen is cooperating and telling the feds everything. And the attorney is advising Timothy to plead guilty. And Timothy says, well, if I plead guilty, how am I ever supposed to practice finance? It's the end of my career. And the lawyer says, bad news. That's like very far down on your list of problems. They're going to come for everything you got. Your house, your money, the trusts for the kids. You're probably going to have to spend some time in jail, but it's probably going to be a federal prison, and federal prison is actually not so bad. Timothy says, I'd rather die.
He said something else first.
He says, I'd rather die. What does he say first?
Are you mentally challenged?
Oh, yeah, he does. He drops a hard R, Timothy Ratliff. A true Boy Scout move, for sure, as he drops a hard R.
Your father does not use those words. He would not say that.
He does not disparage people in ways that they might have said in the 90s in total casual fashion. So, yeah, he just drops a hard R. He calls his attorney that. And then... he says, like, well, what am I supposed to tell my family? What am I supposed to do? This is your advice? Your advice is tell my family that we're poor and I'm going to jail? Why don't you get some better advice, you dumbass, is what he says to his lawyer. And he starts, like, retching, and he's about to puke. But when he's bent over and he's looking in
the window.
In the window of the recently abandoned security hut, Guy Talk has left a different pistol on the desk.
Yes.
So from one gun to another, it seems like Timothy's got his eye.
From a magnum to a handgun.
That's it. Use what you got. So what do we think? What is going through Timothy's head here?
So
I'd rather effing die.
Well, he literally just, when somebody tells you something, believe them. He says, I would rather die. So I think that perhaps self-harm is on the table. Also, perhaps that if he becomes surrounded by the authorities, needs to make a quick getaway, maybe not the worst idea to have that kind of protection.
Not a great idea, but, there's a lot of really bad ideas and not a lot of great ideas for Timothy right now.
My heart goes out to Guy Talk, who can't catch a break.
This is bad for Guy Talk. So Guy Talk, we knew he was going to have a meeting today. It was about the robbery.
They gave him a gun for one day.
Fabian's like, Guy Talk, we like you. Everybody likes you, Guy Talk, but we're getting robbed.
It's good, Fabian.
Yeah, we're getting robbed on your watch. We have to step it up. The island has become less safe. And so Fabian goes away, and Guy Talk's boss, Lek, says, okay, I got a gun. And I think you need to know how to use this thing. We're going to go to the shooting range, and we're going to learn how to shoot this thing. And that's how we're going to protect the White Lotus, Thailand. And Guy Talk is contemplating the gun. And Mook, looking beautiful, ready for this dance later in the evening, shows up. He's smitten. He's going to take her for a little walk, leave the gun on the desk.
Take the cannoli.
Truly Chekhov's gun. It was in a drawer. Gotta go off. Gotta go off.
So a gun is now on the loose at the White Lotus, where we know eventually gunshots will be fired in just 4 days.
Okay, gun to your head, Rob. Is this gun going to be involved in that shooting, or will it be resolved beforehand?
I think this is a red herring, the Red Lotus. Yeah, I think that there were so many gunshots that got fired in that opening scene. This was like just a little baby gun.
It's not a little baby gun compared to the so I'm with you on that. I think the gun will matter for sure. But will it be the thing that is involved in
this is a gun. I don't think this is the gun.
The gun. Yeah, I agree ultimately.
Okay. Josh, let's talk about another member of our vacationing crew here at the White Lotus. Let's talk about Rick and Chelsea this week, where we saw that they're having breakfast, and Rick, we saw, was planning a trip to Bangkok on day 4, but Chelsea's like, no, no, don't go. You don't
Yeah,
tell me
I don't want you to go. I
anything.
don't want you to
Come
go.
on.
She has a I've got a bad feeling about this.
Mm-hmm.
She does not want him to go to Bangkok. Chelsea thinking that she might not be on the White Lotus, but a different franchise. She thinks she's in a Final Destination movie.
Yeah.
That death itself is coming for her. First the
Bad things
robbery,
happen in threes.
and then the snake show. And then, yeah, what's the third thing? What's the third thing? She's right. Three is a trend, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
One more dangerous thing must befall Chelsea. And I don't love it. I'm scared. I'm scared for
You
Chelsea.
think that she could be the person who
Yeah,
is
I'm
murdered?
really scared. I'm really scared for Chelsea.
I don't believe it will be her.
I think Chelsea's in touch with the universe, though. I feel like she's got her fingers on the karmic pulse. And I feel like there's this scene where Amrita, who really has taken a shine to Rick, and you have touched my heart. And she tells him, you are not stuck. You can let go of your story. You can escape the karmic cycle and find peace in this life. But can he do that if he clings onto the story? If he goes to Bangkok, is that condemning Chelsea? And I'm concerned.
I predict a happy ending for Rick and Chelsea. I
hope
really
so.
do. I think that, she loves him.
Yeah.
You know, I think that they are going to ultimately, I think that he is going to, on this trip, I believe, exercise his demons one way or another on this Bangkok trip. When we hear from the therapist about how, he may find peace in his life, I suspect he will.
Yeah, I hope so. Are these the purest characters in the entirety of the White Lotus? Not just this season, but franchise-wide.
I don't think so. I mean, Rick is off to go murder a man.
I think he's a pretty pure dark person. I think that he's got a real there's no artifice to Rick except for when he's posing as a producer.
So is he sort of like lawful evil? Is what's his? I don't know. What do you call that?
I think that so he's basically
chaotic good. What is he?
I think he's he might be chaotic neutral. If he's a gun for hire, right? Then it's to the highest bidder, and he's breaking the law. But she is chaotic good. I think. I don't think that she's a super lawful person. I think that she is somebody who's here for a good time, if not a long time.
Yeah, she wants to get messed up. She wants to party.
Yeah, but I think that she's got there is a sprightliness to Chelsea. She's just an innocent in my eyes. I think she is one of the more innocent characters that I've seen on this show. And her love for Rick is very pure. And I think that this episode did a lot of good work at conveying why Rick is the way that he is. He tells Chelsea, and therefore us, that his father was murdered by the man who owns this hotel, that this man had a stroke, and he had read that he would be here, but he's not. He's in Bangkok. So I have to go to Bangkok to confront this man who killed my father, apparently. My father, who had come to Thailand to help people. He was a do-gooder. Yeah, my father. And so he goes... and is there any chance that Rick's father and Tanya McQuad's father is the same person?
Oh, could this their brother and sister?
Yeah,
wow.
Could this be a little Star
that would be
Wars-y?
a huge twist.
That'd be pretty dope. That'd be great.
It was great that Chelsea said, is this one of those you killed my father, prepare to die things?
Yes. If we go to Bangkok
six-fingered man
and find out that this man has 6 fingers, you have 6 fingers on your right hand. I would be nervous. I'd be very nervous about that. But yeah, he says he doesn't know what he's going to do. He wants to confront this guy, and he doesn't get to not answer for ruining my life. I never had a chance, is what Rick says. And Chelsea pulls him in for a hug. It's very sweet, and I feel like there's times where Rick, who seems like a very dangerous character in many ways, also reads like a little child who just did not have a chance to grow up because of this childhood trauma. So I root for these two. I really do. I'm feeling like Chelsea on one hand, where I'm like, Rick, don't go. Danger lies ahead if you go to Bangkok. Please don't go. While at the same time being like, I would like the show to take us to Bangkok, so I'm glad that it seems like he's still gonna go.
And he is gonna go. That she persists, like don't go, but she's gonna stay behind and hang out on the boat trip, where who knows where this boat trip ends up going into the night.
Yes, the full moon
the episode ends on Saxon saying, hey, it's a full moon and Ish is about to get crazy.
Yeah, the full moon party, which is a thing in the Thai islands. There's this is like a monthly party that happens. When my friend and I were in Thailand many moons ago, we almost went to a full moon party.
Well, giant moon.
I got scared and I said,
it's like, that's no moon.
Yeah, that looked like a Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
Moon was giving Death Star at the end of this episode for sure, which tracks with I've got a bad feeling about this. So what kind of deadly orbit are they being pulled into right now?
Josh, there's a moment where we see Rick at the airport and where he bumps into two guys. Did you make anything of that?
I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Were they the bodyguards, maybe? Is that possible? I wasn't looking closely enough to see if they were Sitala's bodyguards. But that could be interesting. We've introduced the idea of the bodyguards. Is he going to have to contend with these guys if he's going to try and get closer to...
Rick bumps into a lot of people. He bumped into Timothy also.
He's a big bumper. Mm-hmm. I think maybe Rick, talented in many ways, spatially aware, unclear.
Glasses. Yeah.
Unclear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our gals on a victory tour.
Yes.
Not a girls trip. It's getting a little boring there. Well, first off, Jacqueline is a little off her game because her husband, that they are obsessed with each other, is not answering his texts.
Jeff is not answering his Jeff messages. So he's being... He's just on set. It's fine. Everything's fine, but she's getting twitchy. She doesn't like that he's not calling her back. She's been calling all week.
Yeah. Okay. And so they're going to go to breakfast and like, this is boring. We're looking for some fun.
Yeah. So we can't just sit by this pool all week. There's got to be another pool. So they want to trade this pool for another pool.
Let's get loose.
They want to get loose. So they're going to go and have Valentine like give them a recommendation of where to go. And so the recommendation is just like another hotel down the way. And apparently this is the old folks' home.
Yeah. Well, prior to that, also the Jacqueline is like, hey, Lori is single.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like she's like really projecting. It seems like that, she's feeling a little insecure about her relationship, but she really would like to see Lori get some.
Yeah. Is she trying to like get booty vicariously through Lori? Like if Lori gets the booty call, that's as good as Jacqueline getting the booty call?
I'm not sure. Really what her angle is.
Yeah. But she says, Lori's single. And Valentine says, I've noticed.
Yeah.
So could we be heading towards something with Valentine and Lori? I feel like I would have said I'm not so sure last week, but like we're starting to charge up, especially now that we're going to have Valentine out of the hotel and add 2 additional Russian guys into the mix.
Yeah. Okay.
With a snake tattoo that goes all the way
down. Uh-oh.
Snakes up and down this piece, Rob. Oh my gosh.
Yep. I've had it with these mother freaking snakes.
On this mother effing resort. So they're going to go to a different resort. And this is where like a bunch of old people are on tour. They're here with a big group.
This was like one of your recent trips, right?
I went on a trip last year where I was the youngest participant on a tour of like 14 people by a factor of, I think it was 23 years. I was the youngest person by 23 years and took it upon myself to become the co-leader of the tour. It was very, I felt like honor bound, duty bound to make sure everybody got out of there in one piece. No harm, no foul. We made it. We did great. But I was taken back to that moment here of all of these people who like, these aren't like, these 2 women aren't even like lifelong friends who are talking to Jacqueline. They met on the tour. They're on a victory tour of sorts.
Yeah.
Or is it a victory that their husbands are gone? It seems like they weren't too sad about it.
It was nice that they were out and about in the world, and they were new friends as opposed to the girls' trip, which were old friends.
Yes, that's right. The girls are old friends. The old women are new friends.
Yeah. But I think it does speak to something about that the girls' trip is trying to recapture something from a long time ago, where these two women have found themselves where they are now.
Yes. Is this a glimpse into a possible future for any of them? Is that something? Is Jacqueline seeing these widowed women and contemplating her own married life?
See, I don't think so,
because not returning the calls.
Well, maybe she's imagining what it might be like to be single, perhaps, because we know that she's feeling insecure. I mean, she's older than Jeff. I don't think that she's necessarily imagining a life of being a widow.
Yeah. I don't know, but they recognize her. Are you on television?
I like that they don't say what she actually does.
Are we ever going to find out?
No, I don't think so. She's just famous and are you on television?
There's no sort of Shaggy Dog punchline to this at the end, some sort of the aristocrats. Are we not going to get some?
What do you think it would be? What would
I
be
don't
the
know
if
she's on to pull another HBO show. She was on Real Sex. That's
she'd
the
be very
show.
well known, right? And everybody. That's why Saxon identified her immediately.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I think that there's a world where it's fine if we never find out, but I would be interested. I'd be interested to know what her show is. And I would love to see in a future season of The White Lotus. I would love to see it on in the background.
Yeah, that would be great. It's like a whole Black Mirror universe where all the things cross over. I do love that. So, Josh, what was Valentine trying to pull here?
I don't know. I don't get
What's this guy's problem?
Yeah, Valentine just sends them to the old.
He's like, oh, you're old. Let me send you to the retirement
I think
home.
that might be a little bit it. I think Valentine is
was he negging them?
I think he's a 20-year-old dude. He's young, and these women are they're still young. Come on. Yeah. He says 2 days away from 40. They're still young. I'm still young. I like Jack.
Yeah, I guess when you're 20, there's really no difference between a person who's 45 and 70.
Correct. I do think that's right.
You're all old. I don't know.
You're all old. Go to the farm together. I loved Jacqueline's journey through this scene, though. It's so funny. She's getting recognized. She's like, I am from TV. I'm here with my friends. And then she looks around. And it's the Kobayashi mug at the end of The Usual Suspects. He's piecing it all together. Something's off. Yeah. Look around. It's weird.
But at first they're like, this is great. Oh, look at this. This is a party.
You see what's going on? Are you feeling these vibes? And then it's great because Lori and Kate are like, this seems fine. What's going on? And then they look around a little bit it kind of seems like we're at the retiree hotel.
Yeah. All right. So they go back and they grab Valentine. What the heck? What are we trying to pull, Buster?
Yeah, so they're going to relieve him of his duties for the day because he's no longer just their masseuse. He's their
Don't
butler.
tell Fabian.
Yeah, he's their valet for the rest of the day. So he's going to take them into town. It's the holiday is Songkran, I believe, is what they said, which is, I think, in celebration of the Thai New Year. It places us in April, so we're on spring break here. And during this holiday, you go around squirting each other with water guns, and they end up these are the Lost Boys. This is some Peter Pan shit going down here.
Oh, I would hate this so much.
I know.
I'd be holed up in the convenience store with the girls, but those
kids, that one little girl with the war paint.
Yeah.
And they've got them pinned. I'm sad that we didn't get to see how they got
the resolution.
Yeah, I would have liked that.
What does this tell us about these three women that they end up going into town and they get hosed down and are miserable?
Yeah. Is this a gentle preview of what could happen to them by the end of the season? They're caught in a crossfire.
Crossfire? I don't think so. That's so dark that they were just going to get gunned down.
That would be dark. It would be dark. I hope that's not what's coming their way. What is it? What does it tell us that like these that they're not children anymore?
These kids
Rob?
are trying to spray us
These kids are trying to murder me. That they're not kids
with
anymore.
water.
They're not kids anymore. You know, if they were still kids, they would be loving this, but they're not. You are a bunch of old fuddy-duddies. You belong at the retiree hotel.
Well, this is a real Goldilocks scenario of like, this was too hot, this is too cold, these people are too old, these people are too young.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where this is supposed to go. Like, stick with people your own age?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't hang out with anybody? I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're getting chased through the streets. Where are your mothers? Carrie Coon says.
Where's your mother?
Where are your mothers?
And ultimately, then I'm glad they were able to reconnect with Valentine. I was like, how they don't do they have his phone number? How are they gonna look him up?
I'm not quite sure, but now we have two of Valentine's bros. So we've got a 3-3 matchup here now, Rob. In addition to Kate, Lori, and Jacqueline, now we have Valentine with Alexi and Vlad, potentially the Impaler.
Yeah. And yeah, he's got the tattoo, it goes all the way down, and that's it. We really don't see what, typically we get like the beginning of the day, the end of the day, we see everybody at the end of the night. We don't see where the night goes for them.
No, and I like that because it's clear that like the Saxon crew, the boat crew is headed towards like a big party night. And I think like to try and like fit that in 5 minutes here at the end of the episode wouldn't work. So it seems like the plot is necessitating like a little bit of broken structure, which could be very boring if like Rick's night is just spent on an airplane. Unless there are snakes on the plane, totally possible. If like one crawled into his boot and he smuggled it aboard.
There's a snake in my boot.
Yeah, that's it. So let me ask you this. I have not done the forensic side by side yet, but if we have speculated previously that Valentine had something to do with the robbery, should we be looking at Alexi or Vlad as the masked man, as the robber, and the other one as the wheel person?
Yeah. I wonder if we went back to that scene, could we ID the snake tattoo?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
We go back to episode 2.
Yeah. I can't do this on the podcast right now.
You can't do it on the podcast, but I wonder maybe in the comments if somebody let us know if you clock that.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Let's talk about Belinda. And Belinda is like in like her own like true crime documentary where where we see her with Porn Chai and she's doing her Belinda things, which I have to say like has not been my favorite storyline of the season.
This one is a slow simmer for sure, but it's now starting. It's starting to heat up now because Belinda is like still convinced that that's Greg. That's the dude from the hotel. And she does some Googling and we see her find out what happened to Tanya. We find out that Greg is wanted for questioning in Tanya's death, but he has not been responding to requests from authorities. So do they even know he's here? I would guess not.
No, I don't think so. He's hiding.
He's hiding, and Greg, meanwhile, is internet stalking Belinda simultaneously. He tells Chloe that he can't go to the full moon party because he's got very important stuff to do. So he goes and finds Belinda on Instagram. He goes on her Belinstagram, and so he has her fully clocked as she has him fully clocked. So while this hasn't moved in like an incredibly dynamic way quite yet, there are some very charged elements in play. Zion is like a day and a half away from showing up. He'll be super jet lagged, so probably pretty useless once he gets here. And on top of that, we see that Belinda now has it confirmed that mother effer is Greg. Greg Hunt.
Greg Hunt, yes. And famously of BLM that she sees on there, the Bureau of Land Management.
That's it. That's the only BLM. That's correct.
That's right. Yeah. And so they're in a little bit of a face-off.
Yeah. Are they going to exchange faces?
Who first?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that would work.
A little spy versus spy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do not believe the flash forward that we saw at the start of this will be Greg/Gary gunning down Belinda in broad daylight.
I think way too dark. And I also think that if something like that were to happen, that's because like there's an extraordinary amount of pressure on Greg, because otherwise, like, he meticulously plotted Tanya's murder, right? Like, he's not just going, like, it doesn't seem like his style that he's just going to shoot somebody. But I don't know what he's plotting instead. Like, if he was somehow in on the robbery, if he has like crime connects here, what's he going to try
Greg
to
already
unleash?
has all the money.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What goes on Greg's yacht? Like, Greg did not strike me as, he's with Chloe, but like, does Greg just like entertain all of the LBHs in Thailand on his boat?
Yeah, he kind of reminds
free
me,
booze with Greg.
He kind of reminds me of Jesse Pinkman after Jesse shot Gail. It kind of feels like, and he was just like throwing money at people, and he was just like trying to live, and he had everybody like at house parties at his house, but he wasn't really participating. That feels like Greg, that suddenly he's got all this money, all these young people are throwing themselves at his money, but he seems very unsatisfied and hollow. Is there any chance at all that he misses Tanya, that he regrets what he's done?
No.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
No, I don't think so. Not at all. Let me ask you, how much was Tanya worth? She was
an heiress.
An heiress?
Yeah, that's what they said. An heiress. So she had a lot of money from her mom. She tells us in season 1 that she has like, she knows like every single kind of massage. Any massage will do except Reiki. So she's like got the money to try it all.
She's trying it all. Okay. So what do we think is going to happen here? Is that at some point Greg/Gary is going to make an attempt on Belinda's life?
Yeah. I don't know. And
Hornchai is going to like come in with the steel chair and save her.
Yeah. I think something like that could make some sense to me. I'll tell you the thing that I'm hoping for is like this haunted cabana thing that's going on with Belinda. I really hope it is somehow the ghost of Tanya McQuad. That the ghost of Tanya McQuad is like in the cabana being like, yes, get him, get Greg, Belinda, Google him. I'm the ghost in the machine. I'm in the laptop. You gotta find him. He's there. That son of a bitch murdered me. I really hope that we're gonna see some sort of Force Ghost Coolidge action coming on here.
Maybe a dream.
A dream would be great because we've established dreams existing here. So a dream would make a lot of sense.
If you were going to try to bring Jennifer Coolidge into the White Lotus in some artful way, like her visiting Belinda in a dream, I do think would be like a pretty good way to do it.
Feels like low-hanging fruit. Not to keep talking about low-hanging fruits, guys. But I think that the like Victoria had the dream. We've seen the dream on the show. Like, I think that it would make a lot of sense to have some sort of Jennifer Coolidge dream sequence. So I don't know what the next moves are for these people. Like, Belinda should probably just like call the cops, I think. But I would, if I'm Greg, like, I think that maybe that would be a move she'd make soon. So if I'm Greg, I'd make my move soon. So while it's been slow, I could imagine the world where this like really heats up next week.
Yeah, because what business does Greg even have at the White Lotus?
None. He just likes it.
He goes there for dinner. Yeah,
he gets dinner. Their food is real good.
Does Greg do anything on the Saxon Chloe front?
I don't know. I think he has bigger fish to fry right now. It's hard for me to imagine that. What do you think? Do you think that he's going to care enough about Saxon while he has to deal with Belinda?
No, I don't think he really cares. Although I thought that it was interesting when Chloe was trying to get him to take out the boat and she said that, oh, I love you. And then he's all right, fine.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. I do wonder, maybe does Chloe, is she somebody who might want to see harm come to Greg/Gary?
That's interesting. And would we extrapolate that to...
Could she get Saxon involved?
Right. Yeah. Depends on how desperate Saxon is. I think that like maybe she sees in Saxon a guy willing to do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe she's playing a long game. That's her mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That Saxon is the guy that she wants to get to push Greg down the stairs.
Saxon, do you think you could terminate this guy for me?
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure.
Can you make him go hasta la vista, baby?
I need a vacation.
It's one of his last lines. T800.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And who is your daddy and what does he do, Saxon?
He's in finance.
Mm-hmm.
He's in finance. Well, Saxon's grandfather, or Saxon's great grandfather, was a governor, and you know, the governorship runs in the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Josh, from week 4 here at the White Lotus?
I neglect to mention that Saxon's other grandfather was a president. Anything else here? Was he a president? He's looking at. I don't know the whole family tree. Anything else from this week? I'm trying to think. Going through my notes, Zion is on his way. Guy Talk and Mook continue to be very cute, though she's really focused on him getting a promotion.
Yeah. Let's do our episode 5 preview. Okay.
Sure,
We're going to see where Rick is going to land in Bangkok, and Rick is going to be on the hunt for this guy. Do we think that how many days is Rick in Bangkok for?
Well, we only have 4 episodes left, and he has to come back to the resort, or Chelsea has to come to him. Like, this is not the final scene we get between the two of them, I would think.
I think that basically 2 days in Bangkok.
I think 2 days in Bangkok sounds right to me. So I would think that he's back by the second to last episode, which would mean, he has to make moves quick. It could be as soon as next week, though. I mean, if he lands and if he is so mission oriented, I think that him going straight to find the guy would make some sense.
Yeah.
Some recon at least.
In terms of the boat crew, we know that, okay, Saxon and Chloe, something is going to, like, that relationship is going to escalate. Do you think that there's a potential Chloe and Lachlan, not even necessarily like romantic, partnership, but do you feel like that is maybe 2 of the most pure characters on the
Chelsea
show?
And Lachlan.
I'm sorry, Chelsea and Lachlan.
No, totally. I mean, Chloe and Lachlan, I could see also.
Chloe and Saxon.
She's enamored of his magic skills.
But Chelsea is going to be there with Lachlan.
I would love that because I think Chelsea seems like somebody who can bring out the best in people. And while Lachlan is having something of like, there's like a tug of war for his soul between Patrick Schwarzenegger and Piper. Maybe Chelsea could be the person that sort of just encourages him to be himself.
Yeah. Okay. What about the girls on the girl trip? Are they back after the night out, or are we going to see sort of like the aftermath of the night out?
I hope that we get to see the night out.
Yeah.
I'm very curious as to what's going to happen with Valentine and his friends. I don't need.
Do you think this night could spill over? Because sometimes we get the episode starts with the nighttime. Like, are we going back to like Valentine's place with the party of 6?
Could they do like a full day at Valentine's? Could be fun. Like they wake up there, they stay there for a bit, get back for dinner. That could be fun. I would like to see that.
Yeah. And then
do we see the full snake tattoo?
I suspect we do.
Yeah. This show tends not to deprive us of the full snake.
Yeah. Okay. And then also what happens with Timothy and Victoria and Piper?
Well, is she? I hope she doesn't tell them that she wants to stay, because if Daddy doesn't like that choice, Daddy's got a gun. So I don't think that she's going to make a move on this until Lachlan is around. But I don't know I don't know if that gun's gonna go off right away. That's a big question mark for me. I'm not entirely sure. Do you have a hunch of what we'll see next from
No, I don't think that the gun is going to go off, but I do think that we're headed in a direction where
Victoria has to find out soon.
Victoria and Timothy seem like that they are like sort of like ships passing in the night, and that like we're seeing that Victoria, I think, is going to start to like sober up more as she is out of pills.
Yes.
And that we're going to see Timothy just like descent further into madness.
Yeah, I think that I am adoring the work that Jason Isaacs is putting into this character. I think Timothy Ratliff is so watchable. This downward spiral is just, I can't take my eyes off the train wreck. One thing about it is it's a lonely descent. He is all on his own. He doesn't have scene partners other than like angry phone calls to go through this with. Like, I want to give Parker Posey a little more to do. Her character is great. She's always great. Victoria is very funny, but I'd like to see her get engaged in that story.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, would you like her more or less if she's in on it? Like if she knows?
Yeah, I think that would be great for her to find out.
Yeah, I want her to find out. I think I would love for her to find out next week.
What do you mean you're a felon?
Yeah.
You're a scammer?
Yeah. You're not.
I thought you had integrity.
I thought you were a Boy Scout. You mean to tell me you were just a weebelo?
So, all right, looking forward to it. Episode 5 coming up next week. All right, Josh, what else is coming up for you?
Severance, like we said, we'll have a feedback and theories show coming up this week on the Severance front. Several other shows happening here on WeKnowScriptedTV.com here on RHAP. Daredevil has just returned. We've got podcasts on that. The Wheel of Time is coming back on Amazon. We'll have podcasts there as well. Paradise just wrapped. You and Chappelle talked about the whole thing on Nothing But Netflix. Antonio and I just talked about Paradise on the weekend program. Next week, we'll talk about Righteous Gemstones, which just premiered its final season tonight. Incredible show. And if you want more Walton Goggins on HBO, you don't have to look much further than the Righteous Gemstones,
Nice.
which is a very, very, very different character that he's playing, Uncle Baby Billy on the Gemstones. Do you watch Righteous Gemstones, Rob?
I haven't watched it enough.
I feel like you would love that show. I think you might love that show. So lots going on. And then, of course, in the RHAP patron feed, you and I are talking some Survivor, heroes versus villains. The White Lotus heroes versus villains could be a pretty interesting season of the show.
I hate the villains. Russell, he's just such a little scammer.
Yeah. He's like a little gender goblin on crack. Yeah. Who stole my pills? It was me. I did it. So lots going on here, Rob. What do you got going on?
We wrapped up the Traitors this week, all the Survivor, all
Which
of the
will
things.
have a more climactic ending, the Traitors season 3 or the White Lotus season 3?
I gotta hope it's the White Lotus season 3. Okay? Fun rides, both of them so far, but you gotta hope it's hoping for a better ending there.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. More fireworks, I think, for sure, in the White Lotus finale. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to read what you have to say in the comments. So please don't be shy and check out everything else we have going on We Know Scripted TV. When you hit that subscribe button, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.